My name is Ben Latocki. I'm a deputy with the Sheriff's Office. I've been a deputy with the Sheriff's Office for 7 years now. Started in 2012. I was a student officer here at Delta for 4 years for their public safety. I attended Delta, did the CJ program. Then I did the Ferris. So I did the Ferris 3-in-1. Then I went to the police academy. I was the 89th academy here at Delta. Graduated in December of 2011, got hired in February 2012. I'll start by saying I'm going to apologize first off. I'm a police officer. We talk foul sometimes, most of the time, when we're talking to each other. It's just part of the job. And so if I cuss or swear, I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody in class today. So I'm going to try to keep it to a minimum though. Sometimes they slip out. I just wanted to give you guys forewarning. As well as my schooling and stuff here at the Sheriff's Office, I am an FTO. I'm a field training officer. I've been an FTO for about 3 years. I'm on the dive team. We have a scuba diving team. And we dive in the Colquhoun River, the Saginaw Bay, and the Saginaw River. I haven't had to go into any other bodies of water in Bay County yet, but I'm sure there's going to be a day where I have to go in a pond in somebody's backyard and get something out of it. We are a search and recovery team with the dive team, so it's not rescue. So we're always coming in after the fact and picking out, I mean, what you can imagine what we dive for. So evidence, guns, safes, stuff like that. Found a couple bicycles at the bottom of the river. And bodies. We recover deceased people from the Saginaw River and the Colquhoun River. That's where I've recovered deceased people from. I haven't had any in the bay yet. But it usually happens right around this time of year. When the ice starts to melt, people still want to go ice fishing, they fall through, and then we pick them out in the spring when they pop up. I'm going to be very blunt today too. There's no reason in sugarcoating it for you guys. If you guys want to get into this field, you're going to know it's gross. We deal with nasty things. We see dead people. We have to tell people, you know, you hear bad things. So I'm just going to be blunt about it in my experiences. I'm also a drug recognition expert. I'm the, well now I'm the second one. I'm the first one in this county to be a drug recognition expert. And I'm an SFST instructor. Do you guys know what SFST means? Standardized field sobriety tests. Those roadside tests that you see police officers given for drunk drivers or people who are driving on medications or drugs. I'm also an EVO instructor, evasive vehicle operations. So I teach other police officers how to drive police cars. I'm trying to think of what other certifications I have. I think that's about it for my certifications. The DRE school is probably one of the ones I'm most proud of. That's 72 hours of classroom training, so 2 weeks in Lansing, and then a week of field certifications in, is that somebody at the door? Hi. And then a week of field certifications at the Maricopa County Jail in Arizona. And I was lucky that I got selected to do that. I had to apply to that because I got to see the Maricopa County Jail. And the state paid for all my training to become a DRE. And what a DRE does is we're for drugged driving. So if somebody crashes, like I had an evaluation last week on a guy who crashed his car. He flipped it on 75 because he overdosed while he was snorting his heroin while he was driving on 75 near US 10. So I get called in after they arrest him, and I evaluate him. I put him through a standardized 12-step process, and at the end of that process, I'm able to make an opinion on what drug category I believe he's impaired by. And for us, we categorize drugs under 7 different categories. And heroin would be a narcotic analgesic, is what we call it. I like questions too, so if you guys have any questions about anything, don't hesitate to ask. Just ask, like raise your hand and ask. I'll answer them because it'll probably get us on a good talk about something. Yeah?
For the heroin, you guys pull someone over and have heroin, you guys test it, it's like the same thing?
No.
Or you don't do it like that?
No, it's too dangerous because of fentanyl now. You breathe it in, it gets on your skin because it's transdermal. What transdermal means, like lotion. If you put it on your skin will absorb it. Right, and you will.
Crack cocaine, do a blue testing.
Well, crack cocaine, it's a little different, but right now, the way law enforcement is and how dangerous drugs are, we shy away from any kind of field testing. 9/10 of the law is, intent. It's intent. You have to have your mens rea and your actus rea. That's what they teach you. Okay, so you have to have the mental part of it and the actual physical act. So if you show me a bag of sugar and you tell me it's heroin, you're possessing heroin because you think you're possessing heroin. Does that make sense? So if we pull somebody over and ask them what is that and they say it's heroin, well, he's possessing heroin. If the lab comes back and tests otherwise, I can still arrest you on that probable cause. So we don't test it because it's just too dangerous. Because if you breathe in fentanyl, you could overdose. But I have Narcan that I carry with me everywhere. Do you guys know what Narcan is? It's an opiate reversal. But I have to carry this for myself all the time because you just never know. I've also had to Narcan over 10 people already that have overdosed that we get called to, emergency situations. It's interesting. But no, we don't test field tests because it's just too dangerous. Any other questions about any of that? All right. I don't know. I know me, so I don't think very many things are interesting about me. I guess you guys could probably say the same things about yourself. You know yourself. So if you guys have any questions, like I said, just ask because I'll explain them. I've been involved in a lot in 7 years. A lot of interesting things, a lot of things that make you scratch your head and say, what? And I had one night, I told this story, I think the last class I was here. I was still in FTO, so it was 6.5 years ago. I was riding with Sergeant Duchesne. Do you guys know Don Duchesne? Instructor here at Delta and at Ferris. He was training me that night because my FTO was off. But we got a call for a woman who was reporting her son, an infant. He was 2 or 3 years old, missing with her boyfriend in their minivan. And we were driving down the road. We had a description of the vehicle, and we saw it. Are you guys old enough to know the old Texan restaurant in Bay City before it was a pharmacy? So the Texan was a very interesting place for us on midnights, as you can imagine. They were one of the only places that served food after, a sit-down restaurant. So we saw the van parked up in front of the door. So I walk up, brand new, shaken, with adrenaline, and I look in the car, and he's in there, naked, and the baby's in the back seat, chewing on a candy necklace, wearing a diaper. He was in Saginaw, and he had took the child, and he was prostituting for drugs. But one of the most interesting things about it is I got him out of the car, and as we do as police officers, we pat people down, searching for weapons, that kind of thing. He got out, patted him down after I told him to put his pants back on. He was wearing women's high heels. He had a big banana clip in his hair that girls wear, one of those big gator clips. And when I was patting him down, he was wearing a bra with water balloons in it, which surprised me. Which I'm totally for, the LGBT community. I have nothing against that. But it was just very odd. And I asked him what it was for, and he told me it was his fetish. He liked to wear a bra with water balloons in it. His name was Ronnie. I won't give you his last name because somebody might know him. But they went to court, he represented himself, and he made a fool of himself. Because he got me up on the stand, and he asked me if I remember seeing his penis and testicles, and I said, I don't recall. And no, I said I did, and he asked me how big it was in front of a jury and in front of the judge. And I said, I made up some smart-ass answer on the spot. I can't really remember what exactly I said. It was a long time ago. But I made a smart-ass answer that was negative against his masculinity, if you want to put it that way. This was a lot easier last year or the 2 years ago when I was doing it, when I wasn't being recorded,
Yeah,
because then I could just speak freely.
well, you really can. Go for it. It's only criminal justice students that see it.
Okay, but I talked to you about FTO. Who wants to be a police officer in here? Who's getting into this field to be a police officer? Okay, what about probation, parole, I'm guessing are in here too? Okay, social work? Who didn't raise their hand? What are you doing this for?
Emergency management.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
It's credits.
Okay, there you go. Anybody else? Just elective credits?
Juvenile.
Okay, juvenile. What do you want to work at a juvenile center? Or?
Youth care.
Okay. Do you work at one right now?
I have a job. I just got to get a few more credits until I can start there.
Where at?
Midland.
Okay. Bay County has one, and I know there's one in Flint. Isn't the Wolverine Center in Flint or something like that? Police officers are in high demand right now. Nobody wants to do it because everybody hates us. Which, hey, whatever. I like myself, so you can think whatever you want. I know our department right now is hiring 2. I know that the city police are constantly hiring PSOs, but sorry, I don't want to be a real hero. I don't want to be a firefighter. So you guys can have that. I know the state police is constantly hiring. So those of you getting into police work, now's a good time, because when I got hired, jobs, even 6-7 years ago, jobs were few and far between. I had to apply to like 10 different places. Now you apply to one place and you'll probably get hired. I guess back to my other certifications, I just became an SFST instructor. I jump around a lot. So I just became an SFST instructor December of last year, because they give preference to DREs in that school. It's kind of boring, I guess, for you guys, though, because you don't practice it. It's the horizontal gaze nystagmus. Have you guys heard of that test? It's the eye test. You see a cop moving their finger out in front across somebody's face. It's the only test you can't fake. You know, if all you guys in here got drunk and you guys were the best drunks in the world, you couldn't trick me, because it's your body's natural reaction to a central nervous system depressant. That's what alcohol is. So it's the most accurate, 86% accurate. You can't fake it because your body's natural reaction to it. You can become tolerant to alcohol, though, walk in a straight line, balance. I think the highest I've ever had, walking, talking, driving, was a 0.35 BAC, which if I got to a 0.15, I'd want to go to bed, because I don't drink that much. But a 0.35, we have to take you to the hospital because you're going to die soon. Or you should. That's really high. Average, you know, the law is 0.08, so if you think about 0.35 and how many times the legal limit that is. I like being an SFST instructor. Hopefully, my goal with that is to become an expert witness in court. EVO instructor, I got that certification 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago here at Delta. I went through the in-service training. You hear that the police department sergeant, is it Sergeant Gilman, right? He's a sergeant out here, right? Is Gilman a sergeant?
I think so. Don't take that to the bank, though.
Yeah, I don't remember if he's a sergeant or not, but Tom Gilman used to work for our department, retired from the sheriff's office. Now he works out here at Delta, coordinates the training. So I did the training out here. I like that because for a week every year in the summertime, I get to beat the piss out of a police car, and I won't get in trouble for it because they're expensive pieces of equipment. And so they give us old ones, and we get to drive them like we stole them. Burn the tires, burn the brakes, and then that car goes to auction. Never buy a used police vehicle, because you're buying a hunk of crap that's been driven and driven and driven and driven. I have a car that's just a year old. It's got 47,000 miles on it, 47,000 police miles on it. It's go and stop and jam on the brakes. I've had the brakes replaced twice in 2 months, the past 2 months. That's not my fault, though. Other people drive my car. Being an FTO is all right. I know somebody has to train the new people. I enjoy it to an extent. The bad part about it is I'm stuck in a car with the same person for 12 hours a shift. This week, it's 5 days this week. I mean, you can imagine that, you know, sitting that close with him. 12 hours, I mean, not pointing anything out about either of you two, but I mean, you know each other because you go to class together, and now you got to sit in the same car for a month for 14, 12-hour shifts. It's a lot. But I do like it. I do like training because I know somebody has to train them, and I know with me they're going to be trained right, at least. I've been in FTO, what did I say, for 3 years, I think, yeah. I haven't failed anybody yet, so that's good. Our department right now is hiring 2, but that's going to be our highest numbers in a long time for the road patrol. It's going to put us at 41 people, which is, when I first started, we had like 36. So we've gained 5 or 6 spots since I've been there in the 7 years, which is good because you'll learn when you get into this job, government agencies are tight with their money. They don't like to spend it. They like to save it. They don't like to spend it.
Does that count all your detectives too?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's about what we had when I worked there.
Yeah, because we went down for a while, and then when I got hired, we were low, and I was lucky to get that job. Oh, I was also on the Marine Patrol in Bay County for a year.
Well, isn't that a good way for a college student to kind of get their foot in the door?
It is. It gets you known, but don't be that guy. Don't be that Marine Patrol deputy who thinks he's a real police officer and he knows. That's the best way to burn some bridges. There's a couple guys that are on our Marine Patrol that have burned some bridges because they sport their badge around like it's a... Any real police officer, you won't be able to tell they're a police officer off duty because they don't want you to know, because we're targets. That's all we are nowadays. Is when I go out in public with my wife, I'm a target. I don't wear my glasses when I'm off duty. I don't do my hair when I'm off duty. I wear a hat, baggy clothes, something where I'm unrecognizable because I'm a target. And my wife's now a target because I'm a target because everybody wants to kill me because of what I do for a living. So just know if you become a police officer, that's what you're inheriting. In this day and age, at least. I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt when I come into contact with them. I don't treat people like crap unless they do it to me first. If you're rude to me, hey, I don't have to give you a phone call. I don't have to let you smoke your cigarette before we go to jail. But if you're nice, treat me with respect, I'll treat you like an adult. If you want to talk to me like you're a child, well, I guess we'll spank you and treat you like a child. So that's just my opinion about that. But like I said, I jump around a lot. Somebody's got to have a question by now. Come on. Do they do this to you when you teach to them too?
Sometimes.
Yeah, they just stiff.
You're in
No,
the headlights.
no questions. The last class that I had, they had a lot of questions.
It's the first day back from spring break.
Oh, it is. Okay. I've tased a lot of people. I know people always want to know about that. I don't do it anymore because now this is basically a deadly force weapon. All the sanctions they put on tasers. They are less lethal. You are less likely to die if I shoot you with this or this. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But the ramifications now with these, one incident, it was my first summer, it was July, because it was July 4th weekend. I was working Bangor Township. Are you guys familiar with Bay City and the townships and everything? That's where Walmart is in Bay City, is Bangor Township. A kid decided to go to Walmart. If you look him up, his name's Nicholas Stevenson. His mugshot, you'll see the taser probe mark in his face. That's his fault. He went to Walmart and he wanted to steal some batteries and a Frisbee and some other dumb shit. And then he decided to pull a knife on the loss prevention workers. So now he's turned this into an armed robbery, or as we call it, an RA, robbery armed. And as I'm pulling in the parking lot, I'm getting this information from Central Dispatch, and I see him bust out the front door running towards the mall. And so I cut through the parking lot with my car, and for some reason I thought my car would stop him, but he just ran right around me, which makes sense now. That's what I would have done. Right, big open parking lot, and I pull in front of him, he just ran around me, so it makes sense. And so he started running, and so I started chasing him. I knew that 911 said he had a knife. I didn't know if he still had it. So I drew my taser, and I put it in my left hand, my weak hand. I say my weak hand because my strong hand's my gun side. And we're running. And running in this stuff sucks. It really does. When I'm not working, I'm about 190 pounds. When I am working, I'm around 240. 230, 240, right in that range, depending on the day and how much water I'm retaining. But this belt weighs about 30 pounds, give or take. My vest, another couple pounds. My boots, all the stuff in my pockets. My other hidden gems that I'm not going to tell you about, because those are my secrets. But we're running, and we get over in that, it's not the Fairfield anymore, it's that motel, that hotel that's there. It used to be the Fairfield Inn. I forget what it's called now. But he turns, and he's telling me he's going to stab me. He said, "You better stop chasing me, I'm going to cut you, I'm going to stab you, I'm going to kill you." He's using his obscenities, he's, using the F word and whatnot. And well, I'm not giving up, so I keep chasing him. We're running through the cars, and there's people everywhere because it's 4th of July weekend. You guys know 4th of July in Bay City. There's people just standing in the parking lot drinking, watching this happen. And so there's that road that drives around the outside of the mall. It's exterior, you know what I'm talking about, but it's in the mall parking lot. So he stopped, and we were about me to you away. And he stopped, and his back was towards me, and he turned his back. He started turning towards me, and he had the knife in his right hand, and I just saw something shiny in his right hand. Remember, I had my taser out already. So I just shot him with taser. And as he was turning, one of the darts hit him in the face, and one hit him in the back. I was aiming for his back. That's what we're trained to do. That's what we're supposed to do. His fault he turned, not mine. And the probe hit his cheekbone and bounced out. And so how taser works is you got to have 2 of them, 2 probes in his body to make the connection. It's a circuit. It's an electrical circuit like anything. So one popped out. Well, he was dumb enough to try to reach and grab the wires from the other one. So as soon as he did that, he made the connection for me, and I pulled the trigger again, and he got it, and he screamed like a little girl. And he dropped his knife, and it all worked out. But when you think about that, it's a funny story now. At the time, I was shitting my pants because I almost had to kill somebody. That's what you don't think about when you're the average person. You put yourself in that situation as a police officer, because I had to think about, okay, I got my taser in my left hand, I need to start drawing my gun, which I did, because he has a knife. I'm sorry. If I have a knife and you have a holstered gun where you're sitting right here, I could probably stab you before you could get it out of your holster. 21 feet is called a reactionary gap. And how accurate are you going to be? 40%? 90%? I don't know. But accuracy drops. Your adrenaline starts going, whatever. So I had my gun halfway out of the holster. Thankfully, the taser worked. Because as I look up, there's people all circle around us like it's like a big cage fight in the street. And I don't know what would have happened if I would have had to shoot him, because bullets would have went down range and there was people standing behind him. So you got, I mean, that's what you have to think about. And when a lot of people Monday morning quarterback police officers, you got that quick. Make your decision. I hope it's right, because if not, they're going to crucify you. So thankfully, I've never been put in a situation like that. I'll answer your question right now. No, I've never had to shoot anybody, and I hope I never do. I don't want to have to do that. That's one of the part of the jobs that I dread every day, but I'm prepared. I'm ready to do it if I have to, but I hope I never have to. Yeah?
What is the taser, like 5,000 volts, 10,000, or like, do you know like what it is?
50.
50?
The initial is 50, and that's what sucks. Because I took a hit for training. I wanted to know what it felt like. You don't have to, but you can, and it sucks. It's better than pepper spray. If anybody ever threatens to pepper spray, you just give up, do what they want. It's gonna suck. It's 50,000, and it feels like somebody taking a bat and just hitting you as hard as they can across the back. It just feels like just a big whap. And then everybody else is different. I felt it in my feet. I felt like somebody was smacking me barefooted with a pool stick in the bottom of my feet. I don't know, I just felt it like pulsing in my feet. It's a long 5 seconds. Like, I don't think, people don't realize how long 5 seconds is.
Yeah, it probably seems a lot longer in that situation.
Here, I'm going to start it. I'm going to start it now. There's 5 seconds. It's pretty long if you think about it. And to be, you know, the taser, I mean, it's a useful tool though. It's helped me out of a couple jams. Me and my partners one night, we went to a house. I was taking a B&E complaint. An attached garage to a residence. So that counts as part of the home. That's a home invasion. If you ever break into somebody's house and it's a, you know, the garage and it's attached to their house, that's a home invasion if they're home. Big felonies. Remember that. Don't break into places. It's bad. But the neighbor was across the street was a bad alcoholic, and he was poor, and he was a drunk and a loser, because he is. I don't feel bad for him. He went to his neighbor's house and he was going in the garage and he was stealing beer out of their fridge and then taking it home and drinking it at his house. Well, the neighbor was getting pissed because he kept noticing his beer was missing. You know, his Busch Light or whatever he was drinking. Real classy guy. But I've had those natter days. They're not bad if you're 21 and older. Anyways, he had him on trail camera. He set up a couple trail cameras in his garage, different angles, and he caught the guy coming in. We had a perfect picture of it. And it was time-stamped for about 20 minutes before I got there. So I called the prosecutor. I got a search warrant for the guy's house. We went and busted his door in. Well, we asked him to come out first. He wouldn't. And so we went in, and I mean, his house, you know, think of the shittiest place you've ever been. That's where it was. There's beer cans and trash and fecal matter and dog feces. It's gross. That's what we have to go into. And we went room to room. There was 3 of us. Me, Deputy Treichel, and Deputy Woody. Deputy Woody he was lethal, and he had the ballistic shield. So he was in front. And then it was me and Deputy Treichel, and we were taser. We were behind him. So less lethal. And we're going room to room, and there's this hallway that's about, I mean, it's in a house. So, I mean, it's about that wide, you know, just a little wider than a person carries stuff down or whatever. And there's a bathroom door here to our left, and we're going room to room, and we kicked that door. It was kind of funny because the door swung open, and you just hear, ugh. So the guy was standing behind the door, and you just heard him say, ow, and made a groaning noise. And so we order him out. And so all 3 of us are stacked in this little hallway. Woody's here with the shield. I'm here. Dean's next to me. And we're about this far away from the door. And the guy come out with a 13-inch butcher knife telling us to kill him. Asking us to kill him. Well, we didn't. Instead, as soon as me and Dean saw him, and our tasers, I'm not going to point it to anybody, but I'll show you like this. Here and here we have 2 cartridges, so I can shoot 2 people. I can tase 2 people or the same person twice if I need to. That's how this works. So me and Deputy Treichel both have this kind of taser, and that guy got a lot of probes in his legs that day because we just got down underneath the shield and just pulled the trigger. And he dropped the knife and he went down, and happily ever after, and he went to jail, and nobody got stabbed. But, you know, think of it. You know, somebody this close to you with a 13-inch butcher knife telling you to kill me. You know, what do? We made the right decision, I think. Nobody got hurt, except for him, because he got tased, but I think it worked out pretty well. Could Woody have been justified in shooting him? Maybe. You know, that's up to a jury and a judge and a prosecutor, but yeah.
Where does that take it, like 25 feet? 10 feet?
These 7, 10, 15, and 25, I think you can get a whole bunch of different length cartridges. Ours go 25. Ours shoot 25 feet. But think they spread. It's an angle spread. So the top probe will go straight. The bottom one, so they spread at an angle. Because the bigger the spread, it's going to hurt worse when they make that connection. So at 25 feet, you know, the probes are going to be that far apart when they hit the wall. So, I mean, what you want to do is you want to hit him in the back and the butt. I mean, you want a big spread. That's going to make the most NMI, neuromuscular incapacitation. That's what happens when somebody's tased. I just went through taser training last week. Last Thursday we had our recert.
Any victims?
No, one of our new guys on midnights wants to be tased, so I asked if they could wait for a roll call to do that. I didn't scream when I did it. I held it in. So I've been involved in a lot of different things too down at the sheriff's office. Like I said, the dive team, I like to scuba dive. Me and my wife have been scuba diving in probably 10 different countries already. That's Caribbean diving though. I know, Michelle, you like to dive.
Oh, no, I don't do the cold water anymore.
But diving in the Saginaw River is like diving in a toilet. It's what it is. Every time it rains real hard in Saginaw, their wastewater treatment plant overflows, and where does it go? In the river. That's why they close the beaches in the bay for E. coli. E. coli's poop. To simple it down, if you don't know. And so, when we get in though, we wear hazmat suits. So it's a dry suit. So my hands, and parts of my head are the only things that ever get wet when I go in the water.
I used to do that stuff in wetsuits back in my day.
Ugh, no. The bad thing about it is though, so you put all that gear on, and we wear face masks that go all the way around our face, not a mouthpiece, so we can communicate back and forth. There's a button on the front of our masks, they're called AGA masks, so we can talk back and forth if we need to the surface or other divers in the water. The bad thing is, am I going to put my hand into a beaver trap? Is a snapping turtle going to bite one of my fingers off? Am I going to get hooked by a fishing line? Am I going to get stuck on some rebar? I mean, you don't know what's at the bottom of the Saginaw River.
Zero visibility.
Right, you get, when you first get in, when you get about 3 feet under, you can still see a hazy light. It's like brown water. You've seen the river, and it stinks. You get 10 feet under, it's pitch black. You get to the bottom of the channel, which is about 28 feet deep in parts. And yeah, like Michelle just motioned, I get down on my belly, and I just pull myself across the bottom. I wear gloves, so I'm not sticking my hands in things. But they're not Kevlar gloves, so if something wants to bite through my finger, it's going to. And it's gross. But, I mean, as long as you just breathe. I freaked out the first time I did it. I had a little bit of a panic attack. But at 28 feet deep, you can just feel your BC, we call them buoyancy compensator. It's the vest that scuba divers wear. You can just feel it pop right back up. You're not going to blow a lung or anything like that at 28 feet deep. Or get decompression sickness or anything like that. Like I said, we were doing training this fall. They had a big fishing tournament down there. I don't know if any of you guys like to fish. I got a couple free hats from it. Because dude lost his fishing net, big fishing net, like this big. I found it. I ran into it. That's what happened. So he told us about where he lost it and on the seawall, and I went down and we found 2 bikes, and I found that net. And basically, all you can do is you just feel. You can't bring it to your face and see it. I had a light, so I think I did do that. But I had my light in this hand, and I had to bring I was this close to my face in order to see it. So he gave us some Evinrude, I think is the fishing company. He gave us a bunch of free hats and sunglasses and stuff, so that was nice for finding his stuff. I've pulled 3 bodies out of the water so far. I've been on the dive team 4 years. So I'm almost averaging 1 a year, which is nothing to brag about, I guess. One was in the Colquhoun River. That was this last fall. An elderly gentleman in his 70s. His dock was not in the best of shape, and he fell in, and he tried to get out, and he couldn't, and he drowned. So I was working that day, and so I just got all my stuff on, and I just went out, and it's kind of surreal grabbing onto a dead person. It's a job though, like anything. Just do your job, you can think about it later. Last year, that one canoeer he went canoeing in March for some reason on the river. So he's wearing all his Carhartt and everything like that, and We found him when he came up in the spring, because what happens when the water's that cold is everything in your body freezes and you sink like a rock. You fill with water and you sink like a rock. When the water gets warm, starts to warm up, you start to decompose, you start to bloat. Gases fill your body. And you think about what happens when you put a floaty in the water. You take it to the bottom, it just pops up, right? I mean, I guess it's crude to say or think about, but that's the reality of it. And then another individual who killed himself, he jumped in the water at Vets Bridge. He filled his pockets full of cement, like rocks and things, and he jumped in the water. And that was early winter, like really early winter. And he came up in the spring by the Edson. If you guys can imagine Vets Bridge, all the way down past Independence Bridge. He floated along the bottom. Didn't get hung up on anything. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, three people. I haven't been called out for any evidence diving yet, but I know that our dive team has located safes and guns at the bottom of the river. Any other questions? Come on, not one? This guy is the best student in here. A+. Yeah.
Well, like, you know, like, well, like, when someone dies, to carry the weight is obviously more because of the dead body weight, but in the water, it's probably like even more difficult, right?
Oh, no, I just took a floaty, put it around him,
And just-
put it around myself, just grab on. The first one, we did it from a boat. Because what happens is you seal your, this is the only two ways fluid can come in and out of your body, is your nose and your mouth, right? I mean, I guess your butt, but that'd be weird. But these are the only ways you can suck it in. And so gases are going to escape out of here too. And I refer to it as popping them, because if somebody's bloated, I'm sure you guys, is anybody an EMT or anything like that here that has had to deal with dead people that have decayed over a long period of time or seen it? Well, if you do, have fun. It sucks. You can pop them. And no, I don't mean like stick them with a pin and psst, you know what I mean? What I mean is you could rupture the seal on their mouth or their nose, and you'll hear the gas come out, and if that happens, whew, right down to the bottom. And so I didn't even have time to put my gloves on yet, and I just had to grab them, and I just held on to him while my partner tied a rope around him. He was covered in goo, and I got things under my fingernails. I don't know. It's gross. And crawfish was crawling out of his pockets and things that were nibbling on him. It's the reality of it. Parts about this job I don't like is smelling. Some of the things we have to smell. You have to smell some pretty nasty things. The worst was a guy who had passed away, and he had been in his house for a month with his 5 dogs. They didn't eat him, because usually that happens. I mean, the dog's going to get hungry. It's an animal. It's going to eat you. I've been to a house where a cat has licked a dead guy's shoulder down to the bone. It was weird. I mean, it happens. You know, he was green. This other guy was completely black, decay skin, bloated. He looked like a balloon kind of animal, you know, like how the arms would be, you know, way oversized and the skin was falling off of him, kind of like just sloughing off. Like, I don't know, it was like kind of turned into jelly. It looked like jelly kind of. It was the worst smell I've ever smelled in my life. I couldn't get it out of my nose all day. That's the one thing that's bad, is you go into these situations and you have to smell it. I don't care about looking at it. I'll look at it all day. I'm not grossed out by that kind of stuff. It's just the smell. Ugh. And it gets stuck in your uniform, and then your partner smells like it, and then your car smells like it, and it's gross. I can't explain what it smells like, but this guy's house was set back off the road like 50 to 75 yards. It was a little apartment. I could smell him from the road. And I had to go inside because I had to take pictures and I had to investigate. Had to see if there's any foul play, you know. So I'm tiptoeing around dog shit because he had 5 dogs in the house and trying to find him. It's just gross. I mean, that's happened a couple times. Yeah?
So do certain police officers have to do that, or?
What?
To like investigate, like go over there?
So what's different? That's a good question. Thanks for asking that. What's good about the sheriff's office is we investigate cradle to grave is, I guess, what we call it. I get the complaint, I run it to the end. A lot of police departments like Bay City or Saginaw Township, they'll get a complaint and they'll take the initial and they'll hand it off to a detective. Our department has 2 detectives. I wish we had more because I would apply to do it. But you guys know what CSC is? Criminal sexual conduct. Those are your sex, that's what they call rape now, your sex crimes. So we get a lot of referrals from Children's Protective Services for child abuse, neglect, those kinds of things. And those have to be investigated. Those can't be pushed aside. And so when we get those, city police would get it. They'd do the initial, go talk, set up an interview, and the detective would run it. When we get it, we do all of it, everything. Cradle to grave. Larcenies, and I've investigated embezzlements in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've arrested a kid for stealing a dollar candy bar at Walmart because he was a smartass and he needed to go to juvie. Because his dad didn't whoop him. So, I mean, from a dollar amount to hundreds of thousands of dollars, I've investigated it. I've helped investigate. We had one at the Texan where a kid got stabbed in his femoral artery right here on the inside of his leg. I'm not going to say his name. You can say it if you want to. I'm not going to, because I'm not going to put his shit out like that. But there was a fight in there, and depending on which side is telling you the story, which if you're going to be a police officer, there's their story. And the truth is in here somewhere. Go ahead and have fun finding it, because nobody's going to tell you the exact truth. That's the problem we have. But he got stabbed up here in the femoral artery, and there was blood everywhere. Blood is really slippery, too. Yeah.
So, like, do you know, like, some tricks we can use to, like, get the truth, or, like, to go inside the pig?
You catch more flies with sugar than with vinegar. Does that make sense? That's how I look at it. That's how I teach all my new guys. If you're nice to people, like if I came in here and said, now listen here, mother, or, trying to talk to you about something, or if I came in and say, hey, you want to talk about what happened? What are you going to respond to more? The guy who's nice, or the guy who's, have you guys seen that movie, Will Ferrell and... Yes. Bad Cop, Bad Cop. That scene. I feel like the most, yes, there are people that society would say are worse than others, would say they're bad people, would say, their role in society. I don't care. I'm not here to judge you. As a police officer, I'm not here to judge you on what you did. I'm here to figure out why you did it and what you got out of it. Does that make sense? If you want to overdose on heroin, hey, be my guest. But I'm going to be there to shoot you in the nose with Narcan and piss you off for ruining your high, and then I want to know why you did it. Like the lady I had a week and a half ago, she was huffing dust off at Walmart in the subway. Do you guys know what I mean when I say huff, like whippets? But out of a, you guys know what whippets are? Yeah. So, right. As a drug recognition expert, that would be categorized as an inhalant. Probably not hard to figure that one out. But difluoroethane, if I believe is how you pronounce the name of the chemical that's in that. They're not after, you could get high off my pepper spray if you want. At your own risk, go ahead. But what they're after is they're after the propellant in those bottles. So they're drug addicts is what they are. And so she was in the Walmart and I wanted to know why. Why are you sucking condensed air out of this can, you moron? Because you can die immediately from doing that. When you smoke a cigarette, you smoke marijuana, you smoke heroin, what else are you smoking? You're getting oxygen. You're putting oxygen in your body when you're smoking those items. Does that make sense? When you suck something out of a can, what are you getting? Just what's in the can. And that's a very powerful chemical. And it's like when you inhale it, it's like somebody hits the oh shit button on your brain and your brain doesn't know what to do. And so have you guys ever seen videos of people inhaling? Google it. It's very interesting. They turn animalistic. They make noises. Their muscles, they have no control over them. It's interesting to see what happens. But that's the chemical just squeezing your brain because there's no oxygen in your brain. It's all the chemical in there. Lasts for 15 to 20 seconds. A little bit of the chemical remains, and then they go do it again and again and again until the can's all gone. Sooner or later, all that's left in your brain is the chemical, and it's a really good way to get a anoxic brain injury. And what I say by anoxic brain injury is a lack of oxygen. I don't know why I got off on that tirade. But I want to know why. I've been told a couple times by a couple real dirtbags, just real bad people. Man, you're the nicest cop I've met in a long time. Thank you. But that's how I live my life. There's no point in being rude. There's a couple people that I work with. You guys have probably all met that cop who's a dickhead, who gives us all a bad name. They're out there, but it's just like every career. Probation, parole, there's dickheads, juvenile centers. It's everywhere you go. So my one advice for getting people to tell the truth is be straight up with them. Tell them what you got. You lie a little bit. But be nice. I just be nice to people. Like, hey man, why don't you just tell me what happened? Because usually when a police officer is questioning you about something, we already know what happened. We already know. We just want you to, in lack of a better term, man up and tell us. I mean, you did it, own it. You got caught. This day and age, there's not a lot of things you can do without getting caught. There's cameras everywhere. As you can see, we don't wear body cameras either. But that's not my decision. I think it'd be interesting to have one. But yeah, be honest. Be honest, be nice, be respectful. Treat people like they're human beings, because most of the time that's all they want. A drug addict, they're ashamed of it. Heroin addicts, it's not a social drug like marijuana. And don't call it medicine. It's a drug. People use it as medicine, but it's a drug. Xanax, people call it medicine. It's a drug. So I'm not biased, but they're drugs. Yeah.
How come some officers have the body cams and like some don't? Is that
It's
like
departments.
state regulations or policies?
No, department. Think about it monetary-wise, a money aspect. It's very expensive to catalog all of that video, to keep it on record for so long, and then now you're dealing with FOIA requests, Freedom of Information Act, this FOIA. People calling and getting the videos. You got attorneys getting the videos. You got, who's going to do all that? I don't got time to do that. So now you got to hire somebody to do that. So,
You have to have all that equipment for every officer.
right. A lot of it has to do with money. And, they were demanding body cams, police corruption, police. More than 99% of the time, they prove that we do the right thing. So, but it's a good question. Any other questions? Because I'm running out of things to talk about here, people. Not one question about a body I've, recovered or anything.
So, I got a question about patrol.
Okay?
So, if you're in a patrol car, so if you need to have a call to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So do they call officer that's close, or do they just call on a random officer?
So I guess for us, we have general cars, is what I am. I'm a general patrol, so I patrol the entire county, all 14 townships is what we have in Bay County. And all the cars have GPS. And so they can call us by that. Smooth. But like last week, did you guys see the BNC Pizza armed robbery in Bay City? Yeah, we caught that son of a bitch real quick. I was working that day. We were in the office, taser training, and now on our radios, they have an emergency tone, emergency alert tone for us as law enforcement. I don't really know what it sounds like, but it goes off and it tells us there's a high priority call that's about to be aired, so we all, put whatever down that we're doing, dicking around with, and we listen. And they put out the armed robbery, and there was like 10 of us in the squad room doing this training. That kind of thing, they would say any unit, any available unit, and we all just go. Before I came here today, I had to do a check the well-being on a 17-year-old individual who was threatening suicide. For that, they just call me. My call sign is 4132. It's my call sign. That's what I go by on the radio. Like, they don't say, hey, Ben. They say 4132, copy 1 or whatever. So we have a Bangor Township car. We have a Monitor Township car. We have a Portsmouth Township car. We have an Auburn-Williams Township car. We now have a Frankenlust-Collin Township car, which you're in Frankenlust Township right now. That's where Delta College is. We have a couple of school resource officers. So you have different assignments, and you can bid for it. It's all by seniority. And now that I have 7 years on, I think I have like 16 people underneath me already, which is a lot for only 7 years. So I'm never going to work midnights again, ever. I hate it. It's the sleep. The calls are fun. That's where you find interesting things where you get called to places and you're like, you put what, where? And you did what? And you shake your head, but yeah, so that's how they decide. Or they look on the GPS and screw who's ever closest.
So do they ping it for you, or
I can't, what'd you say?
so do they ping it for you?
What do you mean ping it?
Like say you have to go to a house, so they ping it for you and tell you to go there.
They just tell you on the radio. So they'd be like 4132, copy 1, and I'd say go ahead, and they'd say, can you copy a check the well-being at 1357 Main Street? And then they'd say, they'd give it a second to break the air up in case somebody else needs to talk, and they'd give me the details. And like this morning, they said, reports of a 17-year-old threatening suicide, unknown method. So we just went there, checked it out. He didn't answer the door, which I wouldn't answer the door either. So that's how they do it. And then my radio just went off. Everybody has their own call sign. So like the troopers have their own, we have our own, Hampton Township has their own, Essexville has their own, the city has their own. Everybody has their own. Like we have
City Police,
there's a city channel, there's a lean channel,
County Law Enforcement,
and there's county law enforcement. So I'm on channel 1 with the troopers, with Essexville, with Hampton, Pinconning. We all take county law enforcement. City police have their own channel. Lean channels, law enforcement's intelligence network. That's like if you get pulled over, they're going to run your name through that. See if you have any warrants, see if you're suspended or not, through Secretary of State, all that kind of stuff. See if you got insurance on your ride. So, yeah.
Do you get to pick your call sign?
No,
Or is it assigned?
it's assigned to you when you start. So, I replaced, you know Ricky Hanover. That's who I replaced when I got hired 7 years ago. And so, I inherited his sign.
You said you worked here at Public Safety, right?
Yeah, I was a student officer
Okay.
here on the main campus for,
You were a student officer. Did Sergeant Dareback hire you?
no, I trained him.
Oh, really?
When I was here, he got hired as a sergeant, and I trained him how to lock up the building. I was here already. Makes me feel old. I'll be 30 this year. I'm not that old, but the kid I'm training is 20.
I want to hear it.
Like, jeez, oh,
Clear,
Pete's.
31 typing.
That was the city police, because they're the only ones that talk in code. Whatever, just say what you got to say.
Oh,
But yeah, I worked as a student officer on the main campus for I think 1 or 2 years, and then I worked at the Ricker Center in Buena Vista for 2 years.
Yeah, I had a class out there last semester.
I liked it out there. It was quiet. I got my homework done. They paid me more too to work out there. So, nobody's got any other questions? You got one. Come on. Not one?
Not one.
Not one. Who wants to be a cop? Yeah. Wait.
I have a
Question.
question.
Yeah.
You guys handle from start to finish on a call.
Yeah.
At what point?
Well,
do
most
you-
of them. Like if it's a homicide.
Is that, because that was my question, at what point do you decide to bring in a detective?
Oh,
Is
I
it,
don't make
like-
that decision. My sergeant would. So let's say if we went to a homicide call, which we had 2 right at the end of the year last year. One in Auburn, and then the other one was called Colin, where a kid shot his buddy for doinking his ex.
Going to be
Yeah.
pulling in roots
Um,
off of Wilder Road with David.
I mean, that's what he was doing.
969.
But in that kind of situation where it's a high priority call like that, where we know it's going to need a lot of follow up, where we know we're going to have to call in the crime lab, I just string up tape, make sure nobody inside is actively bleeding or breathing and needs medical attention, and we hold it down. Get the preliminary information, like I was sent here on this date at this time because of this reason for my report. Get the names of the individuals involved, and then here you go. Because that's, the high profile. Almost tripped. So, yeah, it depends. We can ask the detectives for help, but the one good thing that pissed me off when I first started is I wanted to give it to them and they wouldn't take it, so they made me do my own, which is nice now because now I know how to write search warrants for Facebook, for banks, for houses, for, whatever you think, Snapchat. I can search all your stuff, so be careful what you send in. I can see it, and some of it's gross. So it just depends, though. A lot of the times we just get counsel from our detectives. Like, I've run into a brick wall, tell me what I can do else, what else I can do. And they'll give you other investigative leads you can take. But high profile cases like that, like a rape that just occurred, that kind of thing where we're going to need to collect a lot of evidence, or like a homicide. So that's what we do. I've investigated a lot of fatal car crashes. Those are gross. You name the organ, I've seen it. On the pavement, still steaming. And a lot of it, unfortunately, is alcohol impaired driving in the middle of the night, or drug impaired driving. We've had a lot of people overdose while driving lately, which, wait till you get home to snort your cocaine or your heroin. Don't kill the, mom taking her kids to daycare. The first fatal crash I had was up in Pinconning. Drunk guy fell asleep in the middle of the road. What do you think's going to happen? He got run over by a Buick. He weighed about 350 pounds. He's a big individual, rounder. So when he laid down, he wasn't very flat. And it was an old, 95 Buick. They had a bunch of rust and shit underneath it. So it just tore him to shreds, and it ran over him. Medical examiner got there, flipped him over, and it just fell out onto the cement. You could still smell the beer, which was interesting. It still smelled like fresh alcohol. But I've also had the flip side where I've had to see dead kids laying on the pavement. And that's a pretty terrible thing. I've cried a couple times at work, which I'm not ashamed to say I have, because, 7-year-old girl wearing her cheerleader uniform just got hit by a car, and her mom's doing CPR on her when I roll up. It's a pretty emotional thing. The first dead child I had to go on, his name was Ben. His mom, it was like a scene out of the movies, was cradling him, screaming, just like you see in the movies. So that's tough. When kids are involved, that's real tough. This job, it's exciting, it's fun. There's also real shitty parts to it. I've had to give a death notification to a guy that both of his parents were just murdered by his cousin. And to see that reaction out of somebody, because you don't quite know what's going to happen. Are they going to attack you? Are they going to sob? What are they going to do? I've had to do that. There's not much I haven't had to do yet. There's some things I wish I could unsee, but I never unsee anymore. Like I said, for instance, the children. That's tough. Dealing with abused children, listening to this, little thing that's that tall with curly hair tell you what that bad guy did to her. That's pretty tough. Makes you want to choke that motherfucker. But, you know, there's a job that we have to do, and we have to investigate it. We have to stay unbiased, and we have to stay impartial. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I don't care if you're black or white, Asian, Jewish, Christian, Muslim. I don't care. If you break the law, I'm going to take you to jail. I'll be nice to you about it. I won't be a dick unless you cause me to be a dick. If you want to fight with me, I'm going to knock your teeth out. Because I'm going to go home. At bottom line, end of the day, I'm going home. If I have to knee you in the testicles or grab them and pull on them as hard as I can, I will, because it's a street fight and I'm not fighting fair. I'm going to win. That's what we do as police. We win all the time. But yeah, for the most part, though, I do really love my job. I like what I do. I'm glad I got into this career. I wish I made more money, because that kind of sucks living paycheck to paycheck. But it is what it is. You don't get into this career to make money. And I saw this meme on Facebook the other day. It was perfect. It was a picture of the cop from The Hangover. That military guy, you know who I'm talking about? And it said, what was it? A rookie cop saying he got into law enforcement to help people, and it said, "Grow up, Peter Pan." Just because, yeah, you might get into this career to help people, but the ability you are actually able to help people is very small, because there's just so much red tape. There's so many hoops you have to jump through for things. Yeah, you do get to help people, like a 16-year-old speeding. Oh yeah, I won't give you a ticket. I'll give you a tongue lashing, and I'll call your mom while I'm standing next to your car and rat your ass out. But what's better, doing that or giving them a ticket? So I'll help them out that way. You know, I saw an old guy with a cane trying to drag his trash cans down a 70-foot driveway, so I stopped and I pulled over and I took his trash to the end of the road. I mean, there's things like that you can do. You can be, that's just being a good person. That's everyday things. So when I can help people, I like to. But remember, no good deed goes unpunished. So sometimes when you do try to help people, they will stick it in your ass and break it off. So it's give and take with that.
Well, if you think about it, it makes sense, because the verb form of police is to clean up.
Yeah. You know, police your work area, all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I like my job. I like how it's different every day. I could do without wearing this because it's uncomfortable. My hips hurt. I'm, going to be 30 and I have lower back problems.
Have you seen the new back support device?
The back defender?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's $250. Right. So I'll deal with back pain for a little while longer before I do that. This vest, I know how a woman feels taking her bra off after a long day, because this vest is hot, it is sweaty, it's just uncomfortable, like right now, because they keep it so hot inside of our building right now, and I was just sweating up a storm this morning, and it's just uncomfortable, and it's riding, and it's rubbing, and taking that off at the end of the day, it's just, oh, it feels so good. Especially on a hot summer day. So women are like, you don't know what it's like. Yes, I do. I do know what it's like. I think my favorite thing about my job right now is the drug thing that I do. I get called in a lot off duty, which I like because I like overtime. I like money. But it's like I'm a detective, but it's a different kind of detective. I look at your body. I look at your eyes. I look at your face. I take your pulse. I take your blood pressure. I make you do divided attention tests, which we call psychophysical examinations. The HGN, the walk and turn, the one leg stand, modified Romberg, and finger to nose test. And I ask you questions. I probe. I prod. I try to learn about the person a little bit. And by doing that, I'm able to pick out of 7 different drug categories and make an opinion on whether or not I think you're just single drug use or poly drug use. There's poly, many, more than one. You guys should know that by now, what poly means. But The last eval I had was the heroin guy. So that's a narcotic analgesic. The one before that, a lady crashed her car. She was huffing dust off while driving and crashed. And the one before that, he had been smoking crack and injecting Adderall, which is, Adderall is drugstore crack. It's a legalized form of cocaine. And so, who thinks driving on marijuana should be legal? You think it should be legal or illegal?
Shouldn't be legal.
You should
It
be
illegal.
illegal? Well, it is illegal, and the problem that we're going to have, I'll explain this because there's a lot of myths out there that I like to debunk because of my training and expertise with THC. Delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol. That's what THC is. That's what gets you high. If it doesn't have Delta-9 THC, you will not get high. You won't have the psychophysical impairment. Everybody wants to compare it to alcohol. It's like comparing apples to oranges. Alcohol, we know there's a per se limit, right? By per se limit, I mean 0.08. That's your legal limit. You're above that, at that or above it, you can go to jail for drunk driving. Marijuana is a legal substance now. There is no scientific studies anywhere that you'll be able to find that correlate impairment with THC nanograms in your blood, because they don't exist. Because it's been illegal for so long, they're unethical to perform those studies, right? So alcohol is a water-based thing. Alcohol is water soluble, is how they call it, right? Alcohol likes your blood. That's why I can test your blood. If you get really drunk and 2 hours later, I'm still going to find it. Because it stays in your blood. It's where it likes to be. Delta-9 THC, or THC, cannabis, marijuana, weed, pot, whatever you want to call it, it's fat soluble, lipid soluble. For fuck's sake. It likes your fat. It especially likes the fat around your brain. And so about 30-35 minutes after you smoke marijuana, you'll reach your peak effects, right? Your peak high, that's where you're going to reach it. You're going to plateau, you're going to get there. 2 to 3 hours is how long you're going to ride that high, give or take. These are approximates, these aren't exact. Okay, so disclaimer. About an hour after you smoke, 90% of the THC will dissipate from your blood and enter the fatty tissues of your body. Problem, right? So how long does it take me to respond to that fatal crash scene? How long does it take me to do the SFSTs roadside? How long does it take me to now explain to you your chemical test rights and try to get you to do a blood draw? Now you refuse. How long does it take me to do a search warrant? Now how long does it take me to get a judge to sign it, wake him up in the middle of the night, and then take your ass to the hospital and draw your blood? It's a long time, isn't it? So everybody sees these blood draws coming back with 1 nanogram, 2 nanograms, 3 nanograms. Well, great. There's 1, 2, or 3 nanograms in your blood, but how many are in your brain? I can't cut out a piece of your brain. That'd be the only way for us to test positively how many active nanograms of THC are impairing your body at the time, is to cut out a chunk of your brain and send it to the lab for testing. But I'm pretty sure the Supreme Court will rule that's a Fourth Amendment right that we would violate if we did that. Dead people we could do it on that killed themselves in a crash. Fine, we're going to take a piece at your autopsy, which those are gross. But so the problem is the higher the BAC, the higher the impairment, right? That's how alcohol works. That's how we measure it. That's how we've studied it. The SFSTs are based off of it. It's all alcohol. Now we have this other little thing called drugs. Prescription drugs, narcotic, people like to call them, illicit drugs, whatever. Levels of THC in the blood up are high. So let's say you just smoked. You got 30, 40 nanograms of THC floating around in your blood. Your impairment's going to be down here. Because where's the THC? It's not in the fatty tissues of your brain where it needs to go to impair you. It's in your blood. Now your THC is going to go down. Your impairment's going to start going up, right? So when we get there, we got 1 or 2 nanograms of THC. But we see all this impairment that we can document. And now your lawmakers who are idiots, and you're people who are pro-marijuana, which is fine. If it helps you, great, I don't care. Be responsible. Use it as a responsible adult. Don't drive. Hey, you're fine. I don't care. It's legal now. Whatever. But they want to put a per se limit on it. Tell me how. Tell me how you do it. Tell me where your studies are that tell me, you know, at what nanogram level do you see impairment? At what nanogram level don't you see impairment? Marijuana now, from when I was in high school or when Michelle was in high school, don't mean to age you there, but 3 to 6% THC concentration. Now what is it? The bud marijuana, 30 to 40. Now let's start making it into wax. Let's start making it into oil. Let's start making it into shatter, what they call it. It's glass.
Like 95% sometimes I heard.
70 to 80%. You got this new form of THC they call crystal THC that they're trying to make. Up to 99. You're going to smoke it, you're going to go goddamn insane. I mean, watch videos of people smoking this high concentrated THC because it's never been done before. I mean, they go insane. The paranoia is out of this world. So that's the problem we're going to have with THC. Yes, carboxy THC, THCOO, THCOOH is the metabolite of delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol. One is the psychoactive, one is the metabolite. I can't charge you for the metabolite. I can charge you for the active, right? So if you pee alcohol, is that impairing your body? Or is that the byproduct of what you already done? It's the byproduct. Heroin in a piss test will come out as diacetylmorphine. That's not heroin, that's diacetylmorphine. That is the metabolite of what you've already done. What I want is what's there. I want the active. I want the thing that's messing you up and impairing your ability to operate a vehicle safely. That's what I'm after. So they put these per se limits out west on marijuana with no scientific basis. Because getting 5 nanograms in somebody's blood, after everything I just explained to you what we have to do, next to impossible. So, when your mom, your dad, your little sister, you're driving down the street, you're coming to college today to listen to some jackass from the sheriff's office talk for an hour and a half, you get hit by somebody who's smoking weed. Is it still okay to smoke weed and drive? Is it still, you know what I mean? Your loved one gets hit. Put 5 nanograms on it. Just put 5 on it. Who gives a shit? Put 5 on it. But we do their blood, they only come back with 1. I guess we can write them a careless ticket. It's no longer vehicular homicide. What'd they do wrong? So that's the problem we're going to run into as law enforcement and as a society. Because yes, recreational marijuana is legal now, but it's not legal. 2020 is when they're going to start letting places sell it like alcohol and things like that. And they're going to regulate it like alcohol, and hopefully they get some tax money off of it. But, I mean, who's been around marijuana, strong marijuana? Shit stinks. Gives you a headache. Going to those weed shops, because we can walk in those places, they have to open up to us like liquor establishments do. I can just walk in. It stinks. It gives me a headache. I can't go to the store anymore without smelling weed somewhere. Me and my wife, 2 weekends ago, Sam's Club, Jack's, Fruit Market, Myers. Every single place we went to, it just smelled like marijuana. But hey, I guess if that's what you want to do, you can do it. But there are no long-term effects in the study of how marijuana impairs your brain over, like, let's say 10 years of smoking every day either. We know what alcohol does, right? It'll cause cirrhosis of your liver failure, it'll kill you. What do you think is going to happen? So that's a little spiel. That's how I feel about marijuana. If you want to use it and it helps you, fine. Have you guys ever heard of the drug called Marinol? I'm guessing you haven't, because who has other than me? Marinol, or healthcare workers, Marinol is a synthetic form of delta-9 THC. Does everything except for get you high. Why don't you take that? Medical marijuana users, why don't you just take this pill that they've been using with cancer patients for pain and appetite for years? because it doesn't have delta 9 THC. If you want to get high, just tell me you want to get high. That's how I feel. Be upfront. Give me enough respect to tell me why you want to smoke it. But now it's legal, so hey, whatever. But Marinol is a synthetic form. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention. Have you guys heard the term opiates and opioids? Do you know the difference? Opiates, natural derivatives of the poppy plant. Heroin, codeine, morphine, the bane. Those are natural things from a plant, from the poppy plant. Opiates. Opioids are synthetics. Fentanyl. What are those clinics called where the dopers go to get their fix? Methadone. Thank you. Methadone, synthetic. Methadone and Suboxone is prescription heroin. They can't overdose because it has Narcan built into it. I have a lot of knowledge about drugs. If you guys have questions about drugs or things like that, but I could talk about it for hours because I love it. That's what I do. That's what I'm interested in. I keep kicking your bag, I'm sorry. But with THC, delta 9 THC, that kind of thing, when you hear people say, well, it'll be in your blood for 30 days. It might. The metabolite, that's not what I'm after. I don't care. But I mean, if I came, so let me put it this way. If I broke into your house and you found my fingerprint somewhere in your house, right? How did it get there? I come in this room, come here, I slap this whiteboard, my handprint's there now, right? How did it get there? I had to come in here and do that, right? How does carboxy THC get in your blood? You got to smoke it, you got to ingest it, you got to take it, you got to do something to get it in there. You don't just have that there. It's not part of your body. So that's what I hope the law goes to. If we can, for extreme cases, fatal crashes where people kill people, it can only get there one way. And so 2 hours, hour and a half after you smoke, I see no THC in your blood maybe. No active nanograms in your blood. But you can't stand up. You're slurring your words. You have heavy ptosis, is what we call droopy eyelids. You have a lack of convergence, which people who smoke marijuana, which I know there's a populace that cannot do this, can't cross their eyes. It's called a lack of convergence. They have a really bad perception of time and distance. So a lot of people, what is your, when you hear of marijuana users or somebody who smokes weed all the time, and you see it in your mind's eye, what does it look like to you? What does that person look like?
Usually a college kid. Some of them in their 20s.
Lethargic? You know what lethargic means?
No.
Tired,
Yeah.
laid back, right? He's like, hey man, like that, right?
Yeah.
That's what we all see a doper as,
Yeah.
right? But that might be the external. What delta 9 THC is, you guys ever seen, like imagine a duck floating on a pond? Looks really pretty on the top, right? Real relaxed. Have you ever looked under the water at what their feet are doing? Just kicking, just going. He's got it. Just going real fast, real fast. That's what a doper is. That's what somebody who's smoking THC, that's what happens to their body. Everything's going. And so poor perception of time and distance, your rear end crashes, you're running stoplights and stop signs, your speeders, because everything feels like it's slowed down around them, but in reality, we're all moving normally. They just think we're moving really fast, so they have to go even faster to catch up, if that makes sense. I try to explain this so everybody can understand it, because I know it, but you know how you know something, you got to get it out to people, and it's hard to do sometimes. So, you guys have any questions? We got like 7 more minutes left, yeah.
So, police officers go undercover?
Yeah, you can. We have a drug team called Bayonet, Bay Area something, narcotics something. Yeah, there you I have no ambition to do any of that. First of all, I can't grow facial hair because I'm a child. I have a hard time growing a beard. It gets it all dirty and patchy and looks bad. But I don't want to go down into the hood of Saginaw and buy drugs. A lot of police officers on that team have been robbed, armed robbery, a gun stuck in their face. No thank you. For what? To get a dime bag of heroin? Nope. I'm all set. But yeah, you can do that. Sometimes we do other undercover things like retail fraud stings, where I walk around Walmart in my regular clothes, street clothes. I mean, I always wear my vest. So, I mean, you can kind of tell. Well, you make that face when I knocked on my chest. It's a trauma plate. Goes from about here to here to protect my heart and my lungs. So we can do that, stuff like that. It's got to be sanctioned. It's got to be approved. You can't just do it. There's rules behind everything. There's policies behind everything. And most policies come from the guys on Midnights. That's why they're written. Because they've done something stupid. But I guess in a roundabout way, I just round this off for you guys. I love being a police officer. I love it. It's the best job in the world. I don't have to sit behind a desk. I can run traffic if I want to some days. I can go hunt warrants, hunting people, like not physically hunting them to kill them, but hunting them. It's a game. Who's smarter? Because they know how to play the game just as good as we do. So that's exhilarating. I've been in a couple vehicle pursuits. Did you guys see that one like 2 years ago where the guy jumped in the river? That was my pursuit. I chased that guy. He was in a stolen car. He did a bunch of unarmed robberies and all this kind of stuff. And he jumped in the river, which I was like, go ahead, man. I'm not coming in there after you. We could get into a pursuit. Right now, I could hear a call for an armed robbery and I have to go. You never know what's going to happen from minute to minute. That's what I love about it. It's just different. I can go deal with a nice little old lady, grandma, or, we have to go and revive a couple, this happened, that purposely overdosed on heroin trying to kill themselves together in a hotel. I mean, you just never know. Yeah?
So when you don't have a call, you just drive around?
Yeah, and most of the time when you guys see cop cars behind you, they don't give a shit what you're doing. You guys get all nervous and stuff, right? You see a cop and you're like, oh, motherfucker. Making sure your seatbelt's on, make sure they can see that it's on, you straighten your mirrors out, and everybody drives. It's not a law. You don't have to drive 10 and 2. That's not a law. Everybody thinks it's a... Because what do you do when you see a police? Oh, shit. Everybody does it, right? I do it when I'm off duty. It's a natural reaction to it, because you're like, oh, shit, they can give me a ticket. It's fear. You know what I mean? But I'm a nice guy, right? I think I am. I try to be friendly. So if I pull you over, let me know that I'm not going to remember your faces. Because I see a lot of people, I meet a lot of people. But let me know who you were, in class today. If you weren't doing something outlandishly jackassery, I could probably let you off with a warning. Because I like to give warnings. I like to educate more than I like to punish. I'd rather give you a warning. I guess real quick, I'll just, to finish up, I'll go over and tell you guys everything I carry on myself all the time. So, empty out my pockets here. That's a tourniquet. If I can get this one out, that'd be great in a situation where I fucking needed it. Another tourniquet. Flashlight. Pocket knife. Narcan. Then I got 2 sets of handcuffs. I got pepper spray. I got 2 magazines, taser, gun, radio, flashlight, baton. It's a collapsing one. I don't want to do that. There we go. So it's steel, collapses. I've only ever broke a window with it, and it's really hard to do. You guys ever try to break a window in a car? This shit's hard.
I did it with,
Get a punch. Get a window punch.
I did EMT training.
Yeah.
And we cut off the antenna. Take the antenna and just flick it.
Yeah, something like that, some high velocity thing. Oh, I got a key fob in my pocket too, and these pockets are full of stuff. I mean, I got my vest. I usually have more stuff. I usually have another backup magazine in my pocket, but I started to put a hole in my pocket, so I was told not to do that anymore. But, I mean, I got a lot of stuff. I never thought I would have to learn how to use a tourniquet, because I'm not a soldier in the Army. But the real fear of being shot is every day. My wife wants me to quit my job. She tells me all the time, because Officer Koenig got shot in the face. I mean, hey, you guys listen to that? His radio traffic? Did you hear that on the news? Huh?
Guy who shot him said anything.
Right. Well, I can tell you that if somebody comes after me like that, you better kill me, because if not, I'm coming after you. That's the mentality you have to have. You have to be in the fight. You have to win. You have to go home. Because I want to go home to my wife. I want to go home to my partners. I want to see my buddies. I got dogs. I got 6 little chickens at home I got to take care of. You know what I mean? Whatever gets you by, if you become a police officer, you're put in a situation like that, you have to win. Have the win mentality. That's the only thing that matters. You have to survive. So that's what Officer Koenig did. You know, he fought back. He survived. And good on him. But does anybody have any questions before I go about anything that I've talked about today?
Got one final question.
Mhm.
The other day I took my test for the Navy because I was thinking about joining
Mhm.
for NP actually, or special dive team, you know, like rescue people out of the ocean and stuff. Now, if I were to do that when I get done pursuing this, like my law enforcement career, would that necessarily help me not like maybe start at the bottom necessarily after all that stuff? In some certain aspects of it?
In law enforcement, we all start at the same place. You're all the FNG.
Just a quick thought I had.
Yeah, you all start in the same place. I mean, the military would help you with the academy because you can do military experience or a degree. A lot of police departments like military experience because of the regiment, you know, respectfulness, because we're paramilitary. A lot of people at our department are former military, so it goes a long way. But yeah, everybody's the FNG. And yeah, frickin' new guy. There you go. But not, the other word. Everybody's the new guy at one point in time. You got to earn it. Yeah, when you get hired here, we give you this uniform, we give you this badge, we give you that nameplate. Now earn it. Now show us you can do this job. Show us you're smart enough. And you got to earn it, just like anything else. So I appreciate you guys letting me come talk to you today. I hope I wasn't boring. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you learned a little something.
Let's give Deputy Latocki a round.